Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Since being here, I tried to learn a bunch and seen a bunch of highlights. The emotions that come into this sucker, it matters in this state.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap. Here's the give. Walker! Intercepted! Bradley! Ball game!
For college football fans in the state of Michigan, this is the week they wait all year for, the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy between Michigan and Michigan State. This year's rivalry game will feature first-year head coaches in Michigan's Sharon Moore and Michigan State's Jonathan Smith, who will be making his first ever appearance inside of Michigan Stadium. The Spartans are coming off an impressive 32-20 win over Iowa this past Saturday, giving them some much-needed momentum heading into Saturday's clash with the Wolverines. This past week, we had a chance to sit down with Smith to talk about that win over the Hawkeyes and what he's looking forward to about his first ever meeting with rival Michigan. Well, no secret, big week for the program. Obviously, Michigan coming up next. When did you start to understand the importance of the rivalry?
Well, it was early on, just upon arrival, gotten questions about it and going around meeting majority alums, right, the former players. So from really day one being here, I understand this importance, and now we are, game week.
Yeah, first impression of the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
Well, anxious to get it up front and personal. To be honest with you, I want to be able to put hands on it and things. And I think it is cool that all in-state rivalries, being a part of that and have a trophy to earn at the end of it is special.
When you were at Oregon State, did you and Oregon have a trophy between the two?
Not nearly as big as this thing, and so I'm excited to be a part of it.
And two, how did you approach that when you were at Oregon State, of Oregon Week, and how can that help you now here at Michigan State?
Yeah, I think I've been a part of multiple in-state rivalries coming from the state of Oregon. That thing was really important. I think it's a great thing about college football. Again, the approach, the emotions go up, right? Energy of the game is a step up, and so having some experience of that hopefully helps us out this week.
I know you talked already about talking with the players. There's 61 new players who are new to this, as well as the coaching staff. How do you approach this week maybe a little differently to have maybe keep emotions in check? Yeah,
you kind of want to balance both of that, right? You want to pay respect to the rivalry itself, wanted to continue the education, how important this is, the history of it, things of that nature. But you can't completely abandon your approach with the way you've been preparing week in and week out. So we're working to balance that. I'm confident in these guys. They know we got to put in a great week of preparation for this one, and we'll do it. Did you ever watch any games or anything like that, or did you know much about the history? No, I'm not gonna lie, not deeply. Since being here, I tried to learn a bunch and seen a bunch of highlights on really going both ways, and the emotions that come into this sucker. It matters in this state, and so wanting to be a part of something like that really means a lot to everyone involved. Looking forward to it. The people that have really helped me for the get-go is Coach D'Antonio, Coach Izzo, and leaning on those guys to continue to learn about what this has meant. Those guys have been huge.
And then obviously coming off the win over Iowa, just what did that do for this group in terms of confidence, and maybe for you guys too as the coaching staff?
Yeah, I think hopefully we gain some confidence from it. We want to continue to be a proven product and putting quality play like that week in and week out. It's something to build off of. I think in particular on the offensive side, the consistency we had, the balance we've been looking for showed up that night.
Obviously the bye week is always used to get refreshed and kind of just mentally take a break and step away, but to execute the way the group was able to do on Saturday, what maybe allowed that to happen?
Yeah, I think these guys approach, because you're right, when you do kind of get out of your rhythm, you take kind of a week that's different than a traditional game week. Sometimes you worry about the kind of execution and are you primed for game day when it's a little bit different rhythm. But these guys did operate. I thought the week leading up, the practices were pretty good, and we executed well on Saturday night.
You talked about how Aiden Childs has played his most complete game against the Hawkeyes. Where has he just continued to get better and understand, like, this is a process and game by game is where he's going to improve?
You know, I think he's learned from some things. I think he's gained some confidence, not just about himself, but also the guys around him. And those guys played pretty well around him, protecting him. The run game helped him like that. Again, no one's playing perfect football out there. There were some things that he can do better. Those guys around him could do better. But understanding that it's not always going to be perfect, but there are big plays to be made. And when they were presented to him, he made some big plays.
It seems like really throughout the whole season, he's had a very special connection with Nick Marsh. Obviously, they're both new, but how has that dynamic just helped the offense in terms of these two young guys, maybe bringing in extra energy, just helped you guys?
Yeah, I mean, well, it helps when Marsh gets the ball in his hands. There's no question he can be special with it. They do got a connection, both of them in their first year. Both of them work really hard at this thing, during practice, post-practice. And so hopefully we can continue that connection for a long time.
Nick said after Saturday, a key to having success so early is schoolwork. Have you ever met a freshman, or have you met many freshmen that are that mature for someone like that?
He is mature on and off the field. I do think that, bad to say, but it's a nice distraction, the school that these guys can go do, because you can't be 24/7 nonstop on this football side, and so being able to get away from it and really chase down a college degree. Nick's a smart guy. We got a bunch of smart guys on this team, and wanting them to chase these degrees at the same time, championships.
Another thing on Saturday, Jonathan Kim, obviously a very big game. Does that do anything for the offense, knowing like, hey, you have a kicker who's as reliable as Jonathan to go out there and make a kick?
Well, it's huge in that game. I mean, we anticipated against Iowa, right? These games aren't going to be huge, high-scoring games, and so every 3 points was going to count for him to come through that way. And again, all these kicks weren't just chip shots now, and especially the second half 55-yarder to separate the thing to 2 scores. Says a lot about him, wanting to be a huge contributor to this team.
Yeah, kicking can be fun, I guess, for a lot of teams, right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
In the win over Iowa last Saturday, freshman Nick Marsh had 8 catches for 113 yards, leading to the Detroit native wide receiver being named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. And to no surprise, kicker Jonathan Kim was named the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week after he knocked home a single-game program record 6 field goals against the Hawkeyes. And his 6th field goal is our Play of the Week.
Now, the Play of the Week, sponsored by Schupan & Sons.
This one from 46. It is up, and he is Kim-evitable. Another one for Jonathan Kim, his 6th of the day.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
6th-year senior Tanner Miller is one of 3 players on Michigan State's roster who followed head coach Jonathan Smith from Oregon State to MSU this past offseason. And Miller's story is anything short of simple, as he has had to work hard for everything he has accomplished. Recently, Miller sat down with the newest member to our team, DeSherian McBroom, who has more on how Miller has turned into one of the nation's best centers.
Michigan State center Tanner Miller says not many people believed in his football abilities coming out of high school, but Miller would not be denied an opportunity he felt he deserved and made the best of his opportunity.
I started as a walk-on at Oregon State. Coming out of high school, I only had 1 offer, so I was always overlooked ever since I was young high school to late high school. So kind of having that chip on my shoulder mentality and kind of going out there and proving everybody wrong.
As a walk-on at Oregon State, Miller made sure his presence was felt, working his way up the ladder and even earning 2nd-team All-American by ESPN and 1st-team All-Pac-12 by the Associated Press.
The amount of reps I've had is all the haze in the barn, is what I like to say. So pressure is pressure, but I'm going to go out there swinging just like it doesn't matter who lines up in front of me, but they play the game just like us.
Many times athletes are just so focused on helping their team be successful, they hardly have time to look back at just how far they've come. But for Miller, he uses everything he's been through as motivation.
When you look at your story and your family looks at your story, you know, how do you kind of look at that? Like, what are you most proud about, you know, from going from one offer to being at one of the premier schools in the Big Ten?
I haven't really like stopped and smelled the roses yet, but I try to like keep that fire burning in me. But when it's all said and done, I think what I've done from where I've been, I think it's a cool story. I remember when I was a kid, my dad took me to a golf, it was like the senior tour for the PGA, and it was Tiger Woods' mentor, I don't know the guy's name, but I wanted to get a ball signed by him, and he didn't look me in the eyes, so then I didn't say like, hey, can you sign my ball? And I walked away and he turned around and he said, hey, don't let anybody ever tell you can't do something in life. And that's kind of stuck with me a long time, and ever since that he said that to me, I think that's kind of like my mantra.
And since being in East Lansing, Miller says he's noticed just how important this program is to the community and the Spartan faithfuls.
Everybody's all about football, and the support system here is second to none. From academic side to the training room to everything, I think it's first class out here.
As kind of like the leader of the offensive line, you know, how do you take it upon yourself to not only, you know, be mentally ready for the game, but also make sure your guys are ready for what you guys need to do day in and day out?
I look at it as like we're kind of the heartbeat and the soul of the offense. When quarterback, he doesn't have a good game, after the game I say we didn't protect very well. If we protect better, he'll have a hell of a game. And in the run game, I think that once we execute better, we will have something special. And then in the pass game, same thing. I mean, every play, no matter what happens, I always take it upon ourselves of doesn't matter what went wrong, it's our fault.
One of the big goals for any college football program across the country is to be bowl eligible. You guys need a few more wins. What does this team and this program need to do in order to accomplish that feat and get to another bowl game?
I think we just got to execute better. I think week in and week out we're going to be playing tough teams. There's not a game on the schedule that isn't a tough game. So week after week we have to go out there and execute and do our job so that we can go out there. It's play by play, quarter by quarter, game by game, but eventually if we do that, we'll be something special.
No matter the sport, coaches always stress to players on leaving a lasting legacy on the program and making sure they propel the program to the highest level before they leave. That's exactly what Miller says he's working to do.
I want to like set the culture and what the coaching staff wants it to be. So I'm trying to put the building blocks in place to leave it better than I found it here.
So while Miller is going to get his first taste of the Michigan-Michigan State rivalry on Saturday night, still to come, we're going to be sitting down with two players who know all about the history between the Spartans and Wolverines, including one player who made a very memorable play a couple of years ago. We'll see you soon.
I love getting out and trying new things, but my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Michigan State wide receiver Montori Foster Jr. knows all about playing rival Michigan, as the fifth-year senior has been on both outcomes of the rivalry. And as he gears up for his final meeting with the Wolverines, our Haley Schoengart sat down with him to talk more about the importance to this rivalry and a very unique off-the-field element that has helped him on the field this season.
Montori, this is going to be your fifth time playing Michigan here soon. How do you begin to describe what it is like to play in a game like that?
It's great. You know, the atmosphere is going to be great. You know, I just can't wait to get out there and just take it all in. And, you know, this is my fifth year, so going against some guys again, you know, I definitely want to go out with a bang. So, you know, I just can't wait to get out there for sure.
What is the meaning of this rivalry to you?
It means a lot, you know, just being able to go out there and, you know, battle and fight to the end. You know, I know it's going to be a dog-eat-dog game, so, you know, just going out there and just trying to play with my best intensity, you know, I just can't wait to do that.
Do you remember when you were a freshman and the seniors told you what it was going to be like to play in this game?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. You know, I didn't expect a lot out of the game, but, you know, the first play when I got out there, I was like, okay, yeah, I might need to turn my intensity up a little bit more. So, you know, my first year, that was a great experience for sure for me.
And what has been your message now to the freshmen that you're in that leadership role?
I mean, you know, once they get out there, you know, they're going to see for themselves, honestly. But, you know, my advice to them is just, you know, don't get strike first and don't get hit, and just, you know, try to, you know, play your best ball.
Looking towards Nestor's side. It's Foster in the end zone. Touchdown! Perfect ball from Childs. 18-yard strike.
You have been Mr. Reliable for Michigan State's offense over the last 5 years. What has allowed you to kind of take on that role?
Really just, you know, just coming in every day, just, you know, trying to be the best version of myself, honestly. You know, just kind of control what I can control, just kind of just do my best at all times. So, you know, that kind of, you know, helped me, you know, become a reliable receiver like I am.
What are some of the positives out of the new offense Coach Jonathan Smith has been implementing here?
Yeah, it's been great, you know, just being able to attack downfield a lot more and just create a lot of explosive plays. So, you know, it's been great so far, and, you know, it's been really fun in my opinion, so yeah.
How has your mindset shifted in your 5th year versus maybe even last year?
I feel like my mindset has shifted a lot, just being more mature and just understanding the whole scheme of things, you know, why I do have to get a hat on this safety, and, you know, because they fit in the run or something like that, you know, to help our running back, you know, adjust in the lane and stuff like that. I feel like just my intellect in football in general has just matured a lot over the past years.
And I'm sure you would credit that to some of your books. A big book guy.
Right, big book guy.
What's your favorite read so far?
I'll probably have to say Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. You know, it's probably one of my favorite books, you know. I read that when I was injured and I had my Lisfranc injury, and it kind of helped me a lot, you know, during that process of just being mentally strong, and it's definitely helped a lot.
What moment in that book really resonated with you when you were sidelined?
He has a lot of moments, honestly, in that book. It's kind of crazy, but I'll probably just say just him persevering through a lot of his life obstacles. Kind of, you just helped me in my life kind of obstacle and stuff, like just kind of being able to pursue through things, just kind of keeping a level head and just a good mindset about things.
How does reading offer you a contrast to coming out here and play football in your life?
It's been great, you know, just kind of just being able to come out here with a different mindset than a lot of guys, you know, just being able to read a lot of self-help books and stuff like that has been great on being on the field, and just knowing that I play football and it could be a lot worse if, you know, being outside of life, and it could be a lot worse, you know, just being grateful for every opportunity that I get.
Have you always been into reading?
No, not really, honestly. You know, I kind of just started reading when I had my injury, honestly, and I just needed something to kind of click for me, honestly, and then reading the self-help books kind of just helped me a lot.
Okay, now what was the first book you picked up that really resonated with you during that time? Was it David Goggins?
Yeah, it was David Goggins for sure.
Okay, who gave you this rec?
It was kind of myself, you know, kind of just being on social media and just kind of, you know, hearing David Goggins' story, you know, it kind of helped me a lot, and I just wanted to read his book because I was very interested in him.
Foster is coming off a big showing against Iowa this past Saturday as he had 5 catches for a season-high 100 yards as well as a touchdown. It's performance MSU is hoping to have Saturday night in Ann Arbor because they are looking to bring Paul Bunyan back to East Lansing. And one player who knows all about Paul Bunyan and keeping him in East Lansing is senior cornerback Charles Brantley. We're going to be chatting with him right after the break.
back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Michigan State's last win over rival Michigan came back in 2021 right here at Spartan Stadium, and it's a game widely remembered as the Kenneth Walker III game. Walker rushed for 5 touchdowns in a win over the Wolverines, but it almost came in a losing effort. The Spartan defense had to make a huge play to seal the victory for MSU, and then freshman cornerback Charles Brantley did just that by intercepting a pass from then Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara. Our Tyler Driesinga sat down with Brantley as the rivalry is set to get renewed and has more on the growth of Brantley from a wide-eyed freshman to now a veteran member of this secondary.
McNamara looking. Intercepted. Brantley. Ball game.
There are 13 players on the 2024 Spartan roster who were on the team the last time MSU beat Michigan in 2021, but none of them have a fonder memory of that day than Charles Brantley. Brantley was just a freshman at the time, but says he knew he was ready for one of the biggest moments of the Spartan season.
It was just something I always known I can do. It's just a matter of time when I had the opportunity to do it. I just had to showcase it.
The interception stirred excitement in the Spartan fan base about Brantley's potential for years to come.
What are the biggest differences in the Charles Brantley sitting here now from the Charles Brantley that arrived on campus at 18 years old?
Well, I'm 100% healthy for one.
Indeed, injuries have been a large part of Brantley's story. The week after the interception against Michigan, Brantley earned his first career start against Purdue. But during the game, he suffered a season-ending injury. Last season, as a junior, another injury forced him to miss the final 9 games and take a red shirt. Brantley says his faith and family helped him through the injury struggles.
I was standing with God, talking to my mom, making sure I'm staying on the right track, especially when I hit the portal. Me bouncing out the portal, and I'm glad they gave me another chance.
Brantley entered the transfer portal after the coaching changes this offseason, which is understandable because he says former interim head coach Harlan Barnett was one of the main reasons he chose MSU in the first place.
Choosing a college on the opposite side of the country is a big choice for an 18-year-old. Why was it the choice that you made?
Well, that was COVID season, so I ain't really get no visits. The only school I really took visits to was Florida State, and that's where I was finna go at first. When my sophomore year, Coach Harlan Barnett, he was recruiting me since my sophomore year. And as time grew up, then my senior year, went over, came back here to his alma mater. So I was like, okay, I already got a relationship with him. But he's telling me, like, if Florida State's where my heart is, go to Florida State. But we want you here at Michigan State. That's where the commitment came from. It came from me and Coach Barnett relationship.
Ultimately, the new staff convinced Brantley to return to MSU. With his health intact, Brantley has started to realize his potential this fall. He leads the team with 3 interceptions, including one against Prairie View A&M that he returned for a program record 100-yard pick 6. Brantley says the new coaching staff, especially cornerbacks coach Demetrius Martin, have helped him practice hard and play free.
He instilled in me, like, he tell me all the time, like, just use your technique, read your keys, just go out there and play ball and have fun. And the football God's gonna be with you. And as I do that, and he tells us to practice, like, you can't practice off and expect to play hard. Things like that, and you just listen to that over and over and over. Like, eventually you're gonna get tired of hearing it. Like, I'm gonna do this every day. I'm gonna just go out there and practice. Just keep going.
From frustrating injuries to game-sealing interceptions, coaching changes to program records, Brantley's career in East Lansing has been a winding road. Now the road leads back to the rivalry game against Michigan. This was the opponent against whom he had his finest moment, and he heads to the Big House playing the best football of his career.
Kickoff is set for 7:30 on Saturday night between the Spartans and Wolverines, and the game can be seen on the Big Ten Network. Each program has 5 wins in the rivalry in the last decade, with Michigan winning the last 2. So we should be in store for another great battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. As always, we hope you enjoyed this week's show, and we'll see you later.
10,000 children in Michigan are in foster care. Many are in need of a temporary home. Are you open?
As a foster parent, you help a child reach their goals.
You make a game-changing assist.
You give a child the home advantage.
And you do it because you know every child deserves a special team.
Ready to cheer on a child? Take the first step to become a foster parent today.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.